Good evening from the Perthshire War Room. Thought I'd give you a view of the current battleground I've got going here. This is my version of the Germans crossing the River Meuse in May 1940. Up here on the heights we've got French artillery, horse-drawn of course, from May 1940, attacking the Germans who are attacking the area. And over here some more of the horse-drawn artillery. Nice pieces these, nice models, I'm really pleased with these. And then here we have in reserve the French reinforcements, all horse-drawn, apart from a few mechanical bits. A command group there, and then leading down to the river. So we'll zoom in on that a bit and have a look at what's happening in the river. There's a general view of the battlefield from the French perspective. So here we are, we have the Germans crossing the River Meuse. We've got the rubber boats with the troops, we've got the storm boats, we've got a pontoon floating a tank across, and we've got a pontoon bridge being built by the engineers with their support vehicles, some of them stripped down to the waist working the river. Smoke has been laid to prevent the French from trying to interdict the attack. And up here, German Heinkel 111 attacking the small town. Could be any of the small towns south of Sedan on the Meuse. So that's quite a nice little vignette of what's going on at this point. And as you move around, you see the early panzers racing to the bridge, providing covering fire, infantry arriving in the armoured half-tracks, and the command units. So this is all being fought using rapid-fire reloaded rules. You can find these on the rapid-fire Fast Play Wargames website, easily found by doing a Google search. And it's a really interesting battle to fight, an unusual early war campaign scenario. Some nice early war kit on display. I'll put up a different video with some stills from the battle. This gives you a really clear idea of how it's being fought. So I hope you enjoyed looking at the close-up views of the battlefield and the overall terrain. I'm going to do a separate video with close-up shots, stills, sort of put together into form a video which will show you some of the action in detail. By the way, I should point out there's a glass of red wine here and a tape measure. This is because I had some comments after a previous video complaining that I had drink on the table and playing aids. So I've put them here tonight to irritate those people who gave me that feedback even more. In terms of the setup of this game, there are special rules in place to try and replicate what happened for the French against the Germans in May 1940. So I'm quite keen on balanced forces and balanced games when you're playing at the club. But when I'm doing my solo games, I'm happier to replicate historical games. So I've made it difficult for the French just in the way it was at the time. So as an example, the French High Command told the artillery up on the heights there to conserve ammunition. They expected a long war of attrition, a bit like World War I, which of course didn't happen, Blitzkrieg lightning war. But they weren't ready for that. So to replicate the conserving of ammunition, I'm only allowing the French to fire every second move, which is really hampering them in terms of delaying the German advance. I'm also only allowing the French to retreat if they get a specific order allowing them to do that, but they're having to take a morale test every move because they might well retreat of their own accord, which again is quite historical. Now the formations that I'm using are from this book, which is from the Rapid Fire website called Blitzkrieg Battle Groups, and it gives you formations for the French, for the British, and for the Germans in the early war period. It's a really excellent guide. And if you want different scenarios to this one, to the Crossing the River Meuse, then Blitzkrieg Battle Games, which is a sister publication to Battle Groups, gives you scenarios to use the battle groups in. The battle groups are evenly matched forces for fighting these battles. So they kind of represent the sorts of forces that have been pitted against each other at that time. So there's French cavalry in there, BEF with their fully armoured forces. In fact, people forget the British Expeditionary Force, the BEF, were the only fully motorised armoured forces at the start of World War II. The Germans and the French relied heavily on horse drawn equipment and indeed horse-borne troops and cycle troops. So the BEF were a long way ahead of the game on that one. Most of that equipment was, of course, left on the beaches at Dunkirk. And then the rules I'm using are rapid fire reloaded, really good, easy to play rules. And for those of a certain age and poor eyesight, not much in the way of tables. And rapid fire reloaded extra, which covers things like crossing the river, that sort of thing. It covers airborne landings, all sorts of other stuff, but it's a really useful set of rules. So, I say good gaming to all of you. Thank you for checking in again, and I hope you enjoy the video. As I say, I'll put up another video with some stills of the close-ups, but I hope this has given you some sort of a flavour of the game, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you all soon. Bye-bye.